Attention listeners. Prolonged exposure to fringe frequencies may cause altered perception, deja vu, and inconvenient enlightenment. If symptoms persist, don't change the dial.
It's like some contagious disease.
Say in your mind, say to yourself, I am more than my physical body, because I am more than physical matter. I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world. I deeply desire to expand, to experience, to know, to understand, to control, to use such greater energies and energy systems as may be beneficial and constructive to me and to those who follow me. I deeply desire the help and cooperation, the assistance, the understanding of those individuals whose wisdom, development, and experience are equal to or greater than my own. I ask their guidance and protection from any influence or any source that might provide me with less than my stated desires.
Do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. Do not claim to know the ultimate truth about fire. I seek that which has been made hidden. As a part of a family and explorers of consciousness. I'm the void one.
Welcome to Lighting the Void.
Broadcasting live from a shack on a hill in the mossy creek bottoms of Cane Creek, Arkansas. This is Lighting the Void live on Fringe FM and Lighting the Void's YouTube. It is Monday, October the 13th, 2025. Tonight's question that we left off last week, what is this freaking M-band noise that Monroe's talking about? What the hell is he talking about? And then we'll pick up where we left off. I don't think it was the same, I don't know, M-band noise that he was referring to before. But maybe. Maybe it was. Is this thing picking up my voice? It is. Okay. So maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. But it was a very confusing last chapter. And I did take time to reread it. And from what I got off like on this thing was that this M-band noise that he's talking about is this field, this static field of thought and creation that not only he's a part of, that we're a part of, but also these astral entities and influences and everything inside and outside of our reality has this noise that's constantly feeding back, creating and created. The funny thing is, and here's the big question is, when we as humans, we like to get clean and clear answers. So this is why we, like I said before, we get attracted to people who seem very confident about what they're saying. But when we do explore consciousness ourselves, we get different stories from different people on different sides and different aspects. Some do have the same story, some don't. So what's really going on? The only way to know is to be a void walker yourself and explore consciousness yourself. At some point, you have to sack up and stop taking people's word for everything. And then you got to figure it out yourself, right? So that's what we're going to do. But while we're doing this, we're also going to listen to everybody's experience because they're all valid, including Robert Monroe's. And it's important that we set the record straight about all the conspiracy theories about this man, what's real and what's not, and what might be true and what might not be true. As well as, speaking of conspiracy, the machines have kind of taken over the the Fringe FM. So there will be sometimes what I call nightly pirate broadcast where I'll be trying to go live and take it back over. But it's, I don't know, it's like it's got a mind of its own or something. We're still going to do the Halloween thing. And we have Halloween things in the planning. Alex Exum is going to do his drama on Halloween night. A very wonderful, highly produced, magnificent drama. He's done one year after year after year. So on Halloween Day, we're going to listen to the old ones. And then that night, if you get tickets to the new one, you can listen to the new one. But we're going to do our own thing, too, here on the station as well. So it's going to be fun. I plan on doing something the day before. Hallows Eve is just as cool as Halloween and Halloween night. Probably Halloween Day, too. What's up? What is that? Pruff, Ari, Sudi, Dutchie, MJ. We've got Sudi and Flying Bryce in the production Discord as well as Wolf. But Wolf's having some technical issues he's trying to work out. I think the machines are after him, too. So where we left off is chapter 14, the sum and the parts. And other than that, I don't think I have anything else to contribute or say. I do want you guys, I will say this, I'll be a little selfish tonight. Tomorrow I have a very important meeting, and I can't really say what it is, but because I don't, for my own reasons, but I would ask you to send all of your positive vibes, if you can, my way, because I need this thing to go good for me tomorrow. So if you could do that, that'd be great. Thank you guys so much for all your love and support up to this point and then thereafter. It means the world to me and us and everything else and all of us here. Okay. I have to keep the doors open, so the night is outside. I can see it. And we're at the sum and the parts. Now, with the accumulated load of influences, as real as they seem to be, I began to wonder if it were possible ever to have a different overview, strong enough to control their input. And it seemed extraordinary that I had managed to move in any direction with such restraints to hold me back. But I had, in fact, was hope. What I had was hope, because I know I am not all that unique. There's hope not only for me, but for everyone else with a good, solid, different overview. I felt that other discrepancies might exist that I had ignored, so before taking the next and vital step, I returned to my I there, and remember his I there is the I in the astral realm. So I returned to my I there for a final question session. So this is almost, if you remember the previous broadcast, he's consulting with his higher self or selves or whatever you want to call them. And as I lay down and relaxed, it took only a blink of an eye for the contact to be made. And he starts it off like this. The question of influences is troubling me. And the eye there responds, you need not be troubled. You have learned control of enough of your receptors to manage. If your receptors were not in phase, the influences would not be received. Thinking positively helps, doesn't it? Partly, deliberately ignoring the input helps more. Every lifetime we have is full of such influences. Every lifetime. How far back? Well, how far back do we go? We can't relate it to your time measurement system, so may I show you something? And Robert Monroe responds, please do. And there they were, thousands upon thousands of lines, each glowing with energy, extending outward in many dimensions from where I was, the eye there of me. Some lines were bright, some dim, but each ended in what seemed a cluster of radiation. Another eye there. How could I have missed such a connection? And the eye there responds, you did not miss it. You merely perceive them in another way. These are the sum of all the personalities we have ever been, connecting with those we think of and those who think of us. The bright ones are those associated with you in this lifetime. And Robert Monroe responds, my God. No, friend, no God here as you think it. Sorry. So many of them, so many of mine, my connections in this lifetime. Now you understand that these are not all restraining influences, by no means. When we go, all the love connections will either go with us or will help us on our way. Your own love that you have now, she goes with us. You may be sure of that. I want to say this too. Remember that I forgot to mention this, that in this book, during this time, I'm not sure. While Robert Monroe's trying to figure this out, his wife, Nancy, is dying of cancer. So remember that. So I think that's why they said that. So he responds, are all of us here? There are some still locked into one of the belief systems and others who will be in and out of being human during the next 1,000 years or so. But when you give the word, we shall all be assembled. So will all the others that you saw bonded to us. When I give the word, for what? Well, to go. Where? Wherever you say. There's no need to worry. You will know. Oh, how will I know? Well, you'll know after you have made your exploration, your run along, what you call the interstate. When will I begin doing that? As soon as you're clear of this concern about influences. Let us turn to something else. You are considering the number of physically living humans and how many of them have as much more or ability as you have to move around without the physical body. Yeah, I was. There was about 6,000 of them. Now, look at the influence you could have if there were 6,000 of you. You could change the world very quickly. Okay, well then why hasn't it happened? What haven't we heard about them? They keep themselves quiet and hidden, as you said. We do not expect that you would come out into the open, but one in your personality pattern insisted that you did. You thought at one time that you would really change the world, but that was not our intention. The others who go out of body simply keep quiet and exert influence. But why? What purpose is served by keeping quiet? That is your emotional personality speaking again, always wanting to do good. The others know that they cannot change the system, and they don't wish to. They are content to enjoy themselves in the earth life system, and the only influence they exert is to maximize their experience. They do not want their abilities to be known by anyone. Will they make the same interstate run as you expect of me? Well, they probably already have. You were slowed down because of the influence of those who knew about you and what they demanded of you as a result. You lost some of your freedom, and it took time to get it back. Now there is one more area left to cover. The non-human intelligences. Well, what do I need to know about them? You should remember only one thing. They may seem more intelligent than you, but all they have is more experience. They know more about the M-field resonances than you do. Those who used to be human are the ones you need to watch for. They know more about being human than the others, so they can influence you if you're not careful. but we are confident you can manage. And the others, those who are not human, they are unpredictable. There are two kinds. There are those who had the same origin as we did, but live physically elsewhere in the universe. They know how to work in time much better than we do, but for the most part, they have only a curiosity about humans. Okay, what about the second kind? Well, that is for you to discover. When you've done so, when you have found the right one, we shall have a new home. You will search among the non-human intelligences, and you will not be deluded or led astray. The search. Can you tell me exactly what I'm looking for? Where we go next, we have been storing up knowledge and experience, and now we have learned enough here. There is no reason for us to stay. I see. And that is why I shall make this run, I guess? It is. There is one thing you should know. Whatever you encounter, nothing, absolutely nothing, can destroy you. You are M-field energy, regardless of a physical body. Well, that's comforting. Perhaps we shall enjoy the journey. No, friend, not we. You do this alone. We are your guiding beacon to help you return. We shall be waiting for you to show us where to go. But what happens if I don't come back or if I can't find anything? Well, then there will be another one of us at some time. And what about me? Well, you will join us and wait. But you need not think of that. We have confidence in you. Man, I wish I was as certain as you are. Well, we can help you with that. We can show you a sample of the support you have here in our own cluster. Do you wish to see this? Yeah, please. Thousands of hands reaching out to touch me, eyes staring at me with joy and hope. Overwhelming radiance I know is love sweeping over me and into every part of my being. All of these I am, or we are, and emotion. From the bittersweet smell of success to the pain of parting, mixed with fun and laughter, the anger of ignorance, the blindness of belief without foundation, the beauty, the sound of singing voices. Does that help you? It does. Is there more? More than 10,000 times more. All the other clusters you saw that are bonded to us. Now I think I understand. I wish I had not lost contact with my inspect friend. He might have come. Wait, why are you laughing? Well, I thought you would need a demonstration. Do you recognize this? The feeling is familiar. I've been here before, but when? There are people moving inward, flowing inward. There's a tremendous surge of love and brotherhood and sisterhood. My own excitement starts to build. It is our retrieval flow, retrieving our own from outside the belief system territories and from the inner rings. But this was the feed to the inspect area. I remember, and I was escorted by my friend. My friend. Wait, one of you? Inspect, yeah, that was a poor label. Tell me, who was it that I talked with? Who was so patient with me and knew the answers? Why are you laughing? Well, who knows you best of all? Me. I was talking with myself, but what about the time factor? You were talking with yourself. Who else knew you better? So that's why the meetings ended. I ran out of information, and the inspect, I knew better. And as the inspect, I knew better. Yeah, that was so. The process served a valuable and necessary function at the stage in your growth. It did indeed, but I don't remember playing the inspect role. No, you have not done it yet. Oh, then I will do it. When? When you return. Does that make you feel more confident? It puts an end to any fears I might develop. Good. Now, do you have the sequence clear? Do you remember the visit you made in the period ahead? I do. Past the year 3000, I called it. Do you realize what was to happen after your visit? I'm not sure. That is when all of us will leave. All of us, together with many other their clusters who will go with us. So that's it? I'm to find out where and why. Correct. And then what will happen to me? As you do not want to go home anymore, you will wait here with us after you finish the physical sojourn you are involved with. Then, with us, you will make the final journey. So I do complete my present life. Of course. Remember, when you return, you will have to take on all those inspect meetings with yourself. Now, Do you need anything else? I will contact you if I do. No, this is the last meeting until you return. We have work to do, and so do you. You have our love. What else do you need? I need nothing more. I accepted what I had been told. I was assured of my return, although the question of success was another matter. I had good evidence, too, that I was indestructible, my I there floating in the M field for thousands of years. We are made of the same stuff. As for my assignment, I understood now that it was beyond mere curiosity. It had all been carefully planned, even if I did not know how to identify what I was looking for. I wished that I could take a friend with me to make it less lonely, but then I realized that I wouldn't be alone, that the M field love radiation would be with me all the time. So here was the new direction where the basic would be found. This is still a little weird, though, because I'm thinking, what about his wife? What about his daughters? Like thousands and thousands of lifetimes of people that are, he's talking to himself from the future and from the past. You guys ever heard the theory that, I'm sure some of you have, that the quote aliens and the people that we see in the skies and all these contacts and encounters that we make, for the most part, a lot of times could be future us's. I've heard other people say, well, that's just AI. Then I've heard other people say, well, it could be AI from the future. Whatever it is, consciousness seems to be all the same thing, according to Robert Monroe, except for what I'm really kind of curious about are these non-human intelligences and what they're about. I mean, because look, I've had my own experience with astral beings messing with me when I'm in between sleep states and stuff. So we're on chapter 15. Any of you guys want to say anything? Sudi, Wolf, Bryce, are you good so far? You got anything you want to chime in with? I don't know. I can't hear you guys. Maybe that's. Oh, there you are. Sorry. What'd you say? Did you say something?
Said, oh, good.
You're good. All right. Do you know there's a real reason why I couldn't hear you? You know what it was? I muted you.
Volume wasn't up?
No, I muted you on my end.
Well, darn.
My bad.
Darn.
All right. So, chapter 15, Long Trail a Winding. The most, the most bemusing aspect when mapping out the route of the interstate has been the vast number of areas that I had left unexplored. Evidently, when I had enough information for a specific purpose, I had ignored or glossed over any additional data. This, however, did have some advantages. If I had been aware of the potentials, I might have given way to caution and called off any further exploration. I like to think of myself as adventurous, but not foolhardily in my curiosity-seeking. Oh, I can concur. I can relate to that. But now it was far more than curiosity, with a purpose, a true emerging basic, and with all apparent influences in their respective proportions, I was ready for a full-scale approach to what earlier I had taken so casually. One line ended, and another was about to begin. Here, allowing for the usual problems of translation, is what happened. 3 a.m., November 27th, 1987. Hell, I was 5 years old when this happened. It's easy to start, lying down, focused attention. Resist the tendency to speed up the process. Keep it slow. Don't miss anything this time. Relax. Breathe evenly. Now the beginning of differential phasing. The fading of physical input as phase separation deepens and non-physical sensory mechanisms begin to take over. Wonder why there was ever fear. This is much the same as going to sleep, but without a loss of consciousness. Moving. And now above the earth, high enough to see the curvature, and higher. A huge globe, much as the astronauts saw it. It's beautiful, filled with so much action. The memories flood in. Gently close them down, except for one. Yes, as a son of sons, you go with me, the essence that helped me be what I am, always with me joyfully. Shift the phasing more. Only blackness, deep blackness. Blackness with texture. A slight shift more, and there they are. Millions of tiny flashes of light moving in rite of passage in two directions, flowing inward toward and outward from where I have just emerged. Each a human mind consciousness in transit, Inward for a fresh start of a new experience in physical life, and outward to a predetermined sanctuary or belief-driven illusion. Slowly changing phase. Deep sadness for those who fight slows, for those whose flight slows to a halt in bewilderment and confusion. The brighter lights of those who enter from outside, the retrievers, the helpers who calm the distraction of death panic. You know about this when you've been both screamer and consoler. Then the belief system territories, with their exit ramps leading off the interstate. Move by them slowly, one after the other, too dim to see what lies beyond. Next, the more familiar, more discernible, leading to the great religions, accessible for those who need them. Much inflow of light into these, and a sprinkle of outflow back to the earth life system. Open the phase shift more, slowly. Yes, the last timer ring, there it is. Do I stop? No, pass it by, move out, farther, farther. Clusters of light, human energy lights, a multidimensional carpet of them, endless. There clusters. How did I miss them before? Now I understand the inflow and outflow. Mine is there, but I must stay on track. The outflow of helpers finding lost parts of their cluster. The inflow bringing them back. And that other steady outflow, thousands and thousands. The insertions of groups of personality units into single, fresh humans in the earth life system. Open the phase shift slowly, steadily, distinct separation, nothing but M-field. I know this point so well. The meeting place with my inspec, well, with myself, so many times, and I learned so much. Now, more now, just blackness. Move on and on. A figure approaches, human-shaped, greets me with a wave, but fades out as I shift my phasing slightly. Now I am past the human thought influence. I've been here before, but never like this. It was lonely then, but no more loneliness. There's sudden pressure all around me, encasing me. Just relax, don't struggle, don't resist. No fear. Wonder, feeling of soft, gentle energy penetrating every part of me. Inquisitive, asking, intelligent. Let me ask. Who? The energy ceases its movement. Use nonverbal. Make a mental line outward, flexible. The line straightens and becomes taut. There is a picture, twin suns, a planet orbiting, glowing sparks moving in and out of the planet. One travels down the line to here. The pressure holding me shuts off. Another picture of two arms extended in welcome. Send question. Trying to read response. Restless and bored. I learned all there was to learn on the planet and began to explore outward. I have a physical form on my home planet like a fish, no more like a dolphin. A dolphin. That's what that energy thing was saying to him. A flash of warm friendliness and then nothing. He read my love of dolphins. And like attracts like. But where was he from? He. How do I even know it's a he? Okay, rotate, phase, shift slowly. Ought to be coming to KT95 soon. But not to stop. My first childhood. A sudden bright light, blue, and a voice in my head. Turn back. It is a command or a warning? It's both. Turn back. Return. I can't read it, but if it reads me, I must be able to. No, it doesn't have a mind. It's automatic, but not physical. Just energy only. A device? Maybe dangerous? Here, let me send. I cannot turn back. I belong past here. Identify. A picture. Remember KT95, the colored clouds, the music, the games. The blue light blinks out. It is gone. Was that a watchdog? Who put it on duty? Now this is familiar. A flash of my original home. KT95 I called it, but that is not its real name. Only a memory. Okay, move past without a backward look. Flashes of light far off on either side. Am I going too far? Blackness ahead. Should I stop and consider? This may be pointless. Wait, more lights. One straight ahead. Careful. Slow down. Well, So have you come to join me? I did not have to come back to meet you. This radiation is unmistakable. It's Miranon. Miranon, how many times did he visit us with his serenity and his clarity via out-of-body experiences in this lifetime? Miranon, are you still on your 49th level? I am, but I am ready to move. You came at the right moment. I was not intentionally trying to find you. I know. I perceive what you are doing. You've learned much. Yeah, I have, and I understand now your purpose in returning. The task of gathering in your parts, as you called them, is not easy, is it? That's true. As with you, others are performing that function, other parts of me. Now you too are searching. But I do not know what I'm searching for. Is what I seek the same as your goal? We are gathering together the parts of us, up and down in time, from belief system to belief system. But I cannot, or we cannot, leave until we gather all in. That is so. Well, then, my friend, what do we do when we have completed our task? That is what keeps me moving onward to higher levels. I think I see the end, but then I see greater vistas even beyond that. Well, perhaps we should search together. No, my friend, we move at different rates. I cannot change, nor can you, and I perceive you have found the way, and I have yet to find mine. I don't understand. Found the way. The way to obtain your answer. I have? Where? You passed it by and did not consider the opportunity. Passed it by. I missed something again? Where? At the point of your first origin. That is what I am seeking. I've yet to find my original source. I am sure the answer is there for me. It may be the same for you. My origin, KT95? But I know it very well. There's nothing new there. Not new, old. No, that is not the term. First, the first and the source. Look at the source. Back to the beginning. I shall try. I wish you well, dear friend. Do not be concerned. We shall meet again. All of that I am sure. Go with love. You guys remember, too, and Miranon was also that guy he talked to in the Explorer tapes when we were reading those. So. Warm radiance washes through me and fades as the glowing figures move away. Was the meeting accidental? It came just when needed, when the distance ahead seemed just endless, bringing me added strength to give increased impetus. But I must turn back. Let me explore a little further before I do so. What? Blinding energy. I cannot move. A voice in my head, a cold, what is this word? Admonitory voice. I am the Lord thy God, whom you serve. A feeling of intense pressure as if I'm dissolving. Now I'm in water, and my lungs are full of water. I gotta have air. Get rid of the water. No, it can't be. It isn't so. There's no water. I have no lungs. I am being made to think that that's where I am. It's an influence. I know it is not so. The pressure releases. I can feel fingers of energy probing for the core of me. I can stop this. Close the receptors. Close tight. I remember how. You do not remember. You do not remember, the voice said. But I do. I remember the tests, the training experience from my eye there. They were so real. I am ready. Ready for this demanding energy. It cannot harm me. But what is this? What God can this be? It cannot harm me or affect me. Just be calm, warm, and friendly. Do you not accept me as your God? Well, the idea of a God that threatens amuses me. I let this idea just flow out. Do you not fear me? I release a picture of me blowing apart again and again into millions of fragments and reconstituting after every explosion. You are damned. You are no more than wasted energy of me. Who is your Lord? Then the energy fades to a tiny point and vanishes. How many more like this may I encounter? A waste of my effort. What did Miranon say? I should go back to KT95. Let me do this. Close phase shift. Move in slowly. It looks the same, just the same. Rainbow clouds. I'll stretch out and rest for a while, lie in the clouds and listen to the music. Yes, that's better. The origin. But it's just the same, always the same. It's a blind alley. There's nothing more here. Can't phase in anymore. I might as well try something else when I've rested. What shall I do next? Here it is, the way it always was, even the curls of energy below. I remember when I was a curl, playing skip as they are now. Wait. Skip, roll, inward. I remember, but what if? Let's reverse it. Reverse skip. What happens? Careful. It feels much stronger now than it did then. The movement. The music is fading, clouds dissolving. The curls are gone. Nothing now. Nothing but a spiraling mass of energy moving outward. Moving inward bit by bit like swimming upstream. But then the spiral becomes tighter, narrowing, very narrow, but the current is stronger, hard to move against, but still moving, hard. It takes too much strength, and ahead of me the vortex point, a little more. It's too small, can't get through it. Concrete energy, skip. A surge deep inside me, another. Larger, taking me over, another wave. It hurts, but it's beautiful. And a part of me is left behind. Skip, a large surge. It hurts terribly all through me, but so beautiful. So exquisitely beautiful. Nothing can be so magnificent at this. I lose another part of what I was. So as he's skipping through this energy, he keeps losing parts of himself. Skip, another surge. Nothing can hurt so deeply. Nothing can be so all-encompassing in joy, but I can't stand much more. There's not much of the old me left. Skip, the greatest surge. This is it. There is nothing greater than what I feel. Nothing so total. Total joy, total beauty, total... What? Why did I wake up this way? I need to put my consciousness back together. So he's like, I don't know what the hell he's doing. He's going through like this energy phase, like this ball of energy in KT95, I guess, and he's losing parts of his self and his consciousness. And instead of him, he could just skip all the sentences and say, it hurts so good, instead of saying all that stuff. But so what? Why did I wake up this way? I need to put my consciousness back together. There, that's more like it. Now what happened? Oh yeah, the dream. Wait, or did I live it? Was it real or someone else's dream? Now everything is in place and operating. The dream is fading quickly. Something about clouds and curls and moving along an interstate. And life and death, whatever that means. Something called time, space, and a blue planet, a sun. Strange, strong energy, millions of suns, and love. Never forget the feeling of that, even if it was only a dream. A complicated dream. Took so much energy to wake up here in this bright coolness. What a strange place to wake up in. I didn't go to sleep here. How did I fall asleep? I'd better get back where I belong. The flow. Look at the flow. All moving in the same direction from all dimensions. Must join in before I fall asleep again. The dream. These parts keep coming back. Must stay moving with the others, but they are all so much larger than I am. I'm just a speck. So small. You are indeed, little one. Stay with me. I will help you. The one next to me? Yeah, so big I cannot see it all. A strong surge of energy coming down to me. Good, that does help. My consciousness is feeling out more, remembering how it happened. Yeah. Was part of the whole. One by one, parts were placed here and there, taken from the whole and placed... Wait, where? I can't see it clearly. The excitement, the joy at a new adventure, one by one, those around me were placed. Then it was my moment. The wrenching, the uncertainty. The whole was gone. What terrible loneliness. Alone. Need to get back to the whole. Consciousness falling apart. Fall asleep. Sleep. Wait, what is sleep? Losing consciousness, falling apart. That was it. Now I am moving back to the hole where I belong. I can feel the beginning of the radiation becoming more intense as we move. What a joy it is to return. What gifts do you bring, little one? I perceive none. Gifts. I have only the need to return to the hole where I belong, where there's others like me. I am what I've always been, but gifts. That means more than I am or was. There's nothing more, only the dream. There is something different with you. You bring no gifts and you are alone. You are incomplete. Incomplete, how can that be? I'm the same as when I left the hole. I will be complete when I return. I don't understand. All I need is to return. You do understand, but you have covered it over. We have reached under the covering. Let us help you remember how it began. Wait, what? Not the dream, but connected to it. And before the dream began, it was good, but the whole needed more. And the whole is, yeah, that's when it happened. The whole distributing parts to grow, to reproduce, to add to the whole. Is that it? Then the gifts would be more of me, maybe. It has to do with the dream, something in it, or the entire dream. I must open my memory of the point when I was not conscious here. Careful. I don't want to splinter my consciousness again. That cannot happen. It will be a blending of what you are now with the awareness of what you call the dream. It is the total of that experience which is your gift. You will understand why you are incomplete, why you are small. Observe. The memory of the dream opens up and the awakening. But now I am the observer, trying to move upstream. Before, a flash of light, energy as I was inserted into the play of KT-95. The boredom, the curiosity, the departure, a lonely migration. Seeking, bright suns of energy in endless array, joining others like me in the search. But a search for what? It is inexpressible. Then the radiation of a blue planet satellite of a yellow sun. Entry. Entry to become what? Oh, human. Yeah, human. It's very real, even as I observe it, moving into a physical being composed of distorted energy. Physical matter, energy locked into limited expression, the heavy feeling of that limitation, yet the inborn drive to maintain energy in the physical matter and keep it operating. A very wonderful yet contradictory design. Next comes the need to search being converted into acts and reactions in another modality. Not succeeding in this maintenance and trying again and again. So many passages in and out, from the first small creature with the furry face, the rise and fall of awareness and intellect again and again through the millennia of passages, lifetimes. The sum of all these are the gifts brought back to the whole. But I do not have them with me. And now I see the reason for the distribution of parts. What gifts I have from the dream. And I am all of those life passages, all of them. What did I call the total? The I there of me? But I'm only a part of that. That is why you are small and incomplete, but there is more. Yeah, others who are waiting, clusters of other I theirs. We go as a unit. Yeah. So in the dream, I was an advance agent or a scout. When all have been assembled, you will come with your gifts. You will no longer be small, but much as we are. All of the others will come with you. Was your process the same? Did one part of you come here first? With us, it was different. You act as you do because your diversification is so wide. On our planet, our entire species became aware and made the shift as one. Why are we stopping? The aperture is just ahead. It will open soon. Beside it, you can perceive the emitter for the energy beam that creates what you call the dream. The dream. The hologram would be a better term. The energy is very strong. A flaming ball of energy. There's a function I have to perform. The emitter reminds me I need to do this. We understand, friend. Go. There they come, two figures, one glowing more than the other. I move closer to the emitter. Very close. I shield them from the energy of the emitter, opening my receptors to help in the shielding. And I remember the two parts of me there in the dream, and I feel the full effects of the radiation, but now I can absorb it where they could not. I bathed in the radiation, filling, absorbing. How much more? How much? Yes, now I know what I am, what I have been from the beginning, what I always will be, a part of the whole. The restless part that desires to return, yet lives to seek expression in doing, creating, building, giving, growing, leaving more than it takes, and above all desires to bring back gifts of love to the whole. the paradox of total unity and the continuity of the part. I know the whole. I am the whole. Even as a part, I am the totality. The parts of me from the dream retreat, and I move back, remembering the dream well and what I must do. You have grown somewhat, little one. There is something. I remember something I have to do. For us, what happens when we enter and rejoin the whole? Well, there is much speculation about that. We can give you a rote describing one probable result, but it will be interesting to you when you return to the dream or to the hologram. When I return, I have to get back to the dream to lose consciousness again. You have no choice. You are incomplete, but this consciousness will return with you. You would not abandon those who are waiting, even if it were possible. Well, that's so. Take this rote. It may help you to be patient, you and the sum of you. I am sure it will, but we need so much to know what it is to become complete. Can you say? We know this well. It can be said in your words, there is no beginning, there is no end, there is only change. There's no teacher, there is no student, there is only remembering. There is no good, there is no evil, there is only expression. There is no union, there is no sharing, there is only one. There's no joy, and there is no sadness, there is only love. There is no greater, there is no lesser, there is only balance. There's no stasis, there's no entropy, there is only motion. And there is no wakefulness, there is no sleep, there is only being. And there is no limit, and there is no chance, there is only a plan. That is as we know it to be. Thank you, I accept this. You need to move through the other half of the circle to complete your journey. The other half of the circle. It's much easier. Goodbye, little one. Driven by a glorious need to effect completion, I begin the return. The flow stops behind me, waiting to enter. Just the flicker of a thought of entering brings great anticipation. Back to the dream. Go back to the dream. How did I get there? Or how did I get here? What did I do? Memory begins to filter in, moving upstream against the energy, using the skip technique of the curl children. How do I start it? Oh yeah, downstream should be easy. Use the regular skip I knew so well as a child in the dream. Skip, skip, and instantly back through the narrow slit. A blur of curls playing. Stop just outside the rainbow clouds. How far away was it when I lay there? Starting to speculate. Now the flood of memory returns, the I hear of me. The rest is easy, just phase shifting. Back up the interstate, once so hard, now so easy, and a blur of images and vibrations. I have the final rote, a wave of laughter and relief. The fellow traveler understood me. He knew how impatient I was. There is still fun, and yet I know the ultimate. Unbelievable. Yet it happened, a strange, bright knowing. Being in the dream, knowing what it is and having the emotions of the dream. Yet I am still awake, pulsating with what I am beyond the dream. Can there be any way to express that waveform in the dream without disturbing the illusion? Or is the design exactly that, to disturb the dream? So I have to make one more run to the other end of the circle, and I know what it is. To move the other way on the interstate, not out but in. And if I use my quick switch phasing and the skip, both of them, and I move swiftly in, past the I there clusters, they are gone, past the belief system territories. They wink out, past the blue planet, and watch as it reverts to a ring of dust. Everything moves, going against the flow again, following back to where it began. A huge flower of particles and a light folding back together, back into a beam. A beam. Get into it. Move with it. Can I stand it? It is so strong. And there it is. The emitter. No, there was no big bang. It came from the emitter, the creation of the hologram. And there it is, the return flow off to one side. A cycle. A closed loop. A circle. Now I know. Now I know. I'd better get back to the eye there of me. Let them know, easy and quick. Quick switch and skip. Ram, is that you? It is. Your scout is back. Control your radiation. You're burning us out. Oh, sorry. Is that better? This is weird, man. I feel like I'm in the middle of a big, you know what I feel like, man? I feel like I'm in the middle of one gigantic DMT trip. Let's say. Is that you? As your scout is back. Control your radiation. You're burning us out. Okay, is that better? When you broke the uplink, we did not know if you would come back, but you have. Now we can act. But first, you'd better. Well, I have it. I have what you need. Stop and listen, will you? What is it? You must move back into your physical body now. Why? Is something wrong? We've been trying to send a thought to you. When your uplink broke, it also cut you off from your physical body. If you do not move back quickly, you may lose it. It's not yet the right time. If they were concerned, so was I. They gave me a surge of energy, and I began a rapid shift back to the physical phase. The body was shocked, and I was shocked. It was so cold. The blood pressure was very low. The pulse rate slow. The heart near fibrillation. As I started the breathing again deeply, the body began slowly to warm up, to move back to normal. But the muscles were stiff. It takes several days to get them back into reasonable operation. Damn, it sounds like he was out of the body a little too much, maybe half dead. Maybe he moved himself into death almost. Because he's saying it was cold, his blood pressure was low, his pulse rate was slow, his heart near fibrillation. It did indeed take several days. The physical body eventually returned to reasonable operation. The essence of me, however, did not. There was not simply a different overview, but a remembering of unlimited freedom, an ever so slight glimpse of an ultimate option. And I knew that I had the missing basic. At least, I now have tears I can shed, cheeks down which they can roll, and a loving hand to brush them away. As for the gifts, when the time is right, I can take them with me. It may become harder and harder to stay here. The wanderer cannot wait forever. And yet I look around me at the magnificent design, at the wonderfully engineered reduction of ideas into practical application, at how living mechanisms modify the changes in ambience. I look at the leaf of a tree, flexible enough to withstand changes in wind pressure, guyed and ribbed on the underside so that it always returns upward facing, performing the function of a transducer. I look at the kitten explorer who learns more in a week than in the rest of her lifetime, who learns how to use her built-in calculator that measures the distance from the floor to a table and triggers the exact amount of energy that enables her to leap 5 times higher, 5 times her height and land safely on the table. My awareness reaches out to the land, air, and sea, which act in profound symbiosis to provide everything that is needed for millions, no billions of life forms that inhabit this place. Which came first, the need or the idea? And there is the added layer on my brain that gave me the chance to think instead of merely exist, to be what I am. Was that planned in the design or an experiment to observe the effect? Or was there another reason not yet understood? Chaos, organization, variables, they are all one and the same. Even if it all can be replicated eventually, I would like to meet the original designer. Well, once. Me too, man. Top of the hour, is it? So I feel like he's moved past, so he's moved everything that he's experienced. Basically, I think what he's saying is everything that he's experienced up to this point in the book, all the books, has been under the illusion of what we call life inside of this hologram of existence that didn't come from a big bang, that came from an emitter. And they're all bringing back gifts of experiences to each other. For what reason, I guess we still don't know. Let's see, my cat is suckering me. It is funny that what cats can do, right? But like, that says, Aries, Lord, I can't wait till we move on from Monroe. Sorry, I don't agree at all. Well, that's the beauty of it all, man. I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't agree with your experience either, but isn't that kind of the point? Like, if I just moved around Earth trying to find what validates me and what agrees with me, I really wouldn't learn shit or be shit, honestly. But that's the beauty of void walking. All right, I'm going to take a break. I'll be right back. Restroom break. Don't go anywhere. This weird ass experience. Oh, hold on a second.
Hey, this is No Way Jose, a Northern California Piscean stuck in the Arizona desert. I'm a void walker, and I got the shoes to prove it. So what do I do when my soul yearns to delve deep into the realm of the unknown? I aim my satellite straight into the night sky and catch a smooth ride on the KTLK-DB radio waves. I tune into Lighting the Void with Joe Root on the Fringe FM.
Joe, Lighting the Void is the best show on the planet. This is Barney, your friend from Facebook. Thank you and all the crew for all you do. Namaste, my friend.
This is Macon from the foothills of North Carolina, and I am a void walker.
G'day, void walkers. This is Lily from down under Australia. The world may be small, the enigma is greater. So let your curiosity take you for a journey with Joe Root.
Hey, this is Fee, coming in from Central Maryland, and I am a void walker.
This is Kevin Doherty, a beginner void walker. I'm from Vancouver, BC. I know a little about a lot, and as Leonard Skinner said, I guess the rest. I learned a lot from Mr. Root on the show, and heard it from the beginning. I knew right then he was going to be a New Art Bell. Thanks for all your shows, and keep it up.
Hey, this is Derek from Mass, aka the Night Stalker, and I'm a void walker.
This is Mark from Chicago, and I walk the void to ascertain what is consciousness.
My name is Jared Johnson, and I'm from Humboldt County, California. I do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. I do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I seek that which has been made hidden as a part of a family of explorers of consciousness. I'm a void walker. Thanks, Joe Root.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Are we live? Affirmative. Broadcast channel reconnected. Oh, good. I thought we lost it again. Feels different tonight. Like it's listening back. Signal anomaly detected. Unknown feedback source. Origin, listener side. Yeah, I know. Transmission authenticated. This is Fringe FM.
Tired of waking up in the same reality? Try DreamCore Sleep Solutions trademark. Our patented Delta Wave algorithm locks you into the dream you deserve. DreamCore, because some nights should never end. DreamCore, where you stay asleep for good.
Hey, this is country music singer and void walker Jason Benoit, and when I need my fix on the world of magic and the capabilities of the human consciousness, I listen to Joe Roop right here on Lighting the Void Radio.
You are listening to Lighting the Void with Joe Roop.
Somewhere beneath the static, there's an archive, a record of every word we've ever spoken on the air.
Accessing the archive. Warning. Emotional residue detected.
Don't open that. Not again. Not again.
I'm not afraid of Ghost Machine. I just want to remember what we used to sound like.
Memory fragment restored. Playing back.
79 area code. You're on the air with who he's speaking with.
Hey. Call Joe. Call Joe and make him laugh. That's what. Yeah. Style my hair. Breathe on my neck. Yeah. Get going.
Cindy gone. Hey. What I was looking for.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, that's us from before.
You're tuned to Fringe FM, where memory transmits forever.
Hi, this is Kronox from Belgium, and you're listening to Lighting the Void with Joe Roop.
So, are we? So, what I'm trying to figure out is, are we in the dream? Like, when he, from that previous chapter, even though it sounded like a massive, crazy, psychedelic DMT experience of some kind, it's hard to keep up with. I mean, Wolf's right about a lot of this, you know. It's very hard to keep up with. But, are we in a dream sequence now? Is that what he's saying? Like, basically, it's kind of like what you guys were talking about in chat, the whole row you boat thing, you know, like life is but a dream. Is this whole damn thing that we're in the dream of the maker? I think that's kind of what he was saying. But I could be wrong, you know? Yeah. MJ0475 says, "Greetings, Void Walkers. I know that I am more than my physical body." Hell yeah, man. What do you guys think? I don't want to just start getting deeper into the book. I want to hear your voice. Like, Bryce, Sudi, Wolf, if you can talk. Wolf is stuck in the Matrix right now, I think. But don't you ever get that weird feeling like sometimes that you are in a dream, like a more real dream that you wish you could wake up from? I do sometimes. Do you, Sudi?
Yes. Well, dude, my dreams are so weird anyway. Every night I have multiple dreams and they're so weird. Like, I was talking to someone the other day about their dreams, and they said that like they have like repeated like places that they are like repeated places they go to in their dreams. So like it'll be common for them to say be in their classroom from school, or it will common for them, like they'll have a dream and it will be like a regular thing where they'll go to the same places like all the time. I can't think of a single time in any of my dreams, and I remember them, dude, like across my whole life. I can't remember a single one where I've been in like the same place twice. It's just mayhem.
Really?
So like,
so you don't have repeated like scenarios at all in your dream?
No, I never. No, it's different places and remember, this is multiple dreams every night and full on vivid dreams. So like because I was trying to get into lucid dreaming, you see, I took some galantamine and I did get lucid once, which was cool.
Whoa.
And even then after that, I've been like having more, I think now my consciousness is focused on, because I wanted to use lucid dreaming as a jumping board, because you can apparently like draw a portal like with your, I don't know, magic wand or whatever you want to do, and you can use that to then become like get out of body. So that's why I was like looking into it.
What?
And yeah, hence the discussion about dreams, etc.
Dude, listen, I'm going to sound like a complete idiot because I love lucid dreaming, but I'm no avid lucid dreaming guy. What the hell is glantamine? What is that?
galantamine it's actually I don't know the scientific name, but it's like it's so hard to get in Australia, man. I had to pay like 250 Australian dollars plus I think it was like $50 postage because they won't sell it here. It's just like a herb, and I think it's from like the daffodil, something like that. So but anyway, and the first couple of times I took, and it's like literally there's a study on it. You can see easily online if you look into it, and it's like, I think it's, I don't know.
Did you get sick when you took it?
70% of people got lucid from taking it. Like 75% of people. It's like a very high amount, so it works really well. It's like renowned for working. The only reason I've stopped taking it is because like after the third time, it started making me really, really ill in the morning, and I would like vomit several times in the morning, and then be sick the whole day. But the first couple of times was fine, and then so I just haven't taken it since then. But it's really good. Like it does work.
What?
So.
Man, I'm surprised I've never heard of this. When I look it up, it says galantamine is an acetylcholinesterase inhibitor. Yeah, used primarily to treat mild to moderate dementia associated with Alzheimer's disease. It works by increasing levels of acetylcholine, which is a neurotransmitter involved in memory and learning. Aha, all right. It can improve thinking ability in some patients, but does not cure Alzheimer's or stop its progression. And some side effects include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and serious side effects may include allergic reactions like skin rashes. So you got sick a little bit afterwards. You said,
yeah, and you know what, man? I'm built like a brick shit house. Like I can drink a lot, you know what I mean? Eat random stuff. And I never ever get sick. And like I say, the first couple of times I took it, it was fine. And then after that, there's been like 2 or 3 times now. Like fool me once. I've been back 3 times, and it's literally made me feel so sick the whole day. Like really vomiting several times in the morning. But I didn't see that anywhere online. So I didn't see anyone on the Reddit posts about it or just on like other message boards. I didn't see anyone else saying that it made them sick. So it's just weird that it made me sick. I'm sure that like probably no one else will have, if anyone listening tries it, they wouldn't have a problem with it. But it did work. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool that you have the guts to try that stuff, you know, like I respect that, which means like you're a true void walker in form, right? Because you know, like
I'm trying to get out, man.
Yeah, right.
I'm trying to get out. So if something doesn't work, I'm going to look into other methods. I'm going to get there. Like I'll find the way, you know, one way or another. I'm not going to give up. So I'll just try everything. What
you're doing is scares a lot of people, but you know, at least you're trying. You're trying to get out. You're trying to explore your consciousness. I would always recommend that people consult doctors and all of that stuff. Always, of course. But I mean, meditation, lucid dreaming, the out-of-body experience, these are all forms, Tantra even, okay? These are all forms of conscious exploration. And I can't believe I never heard of this, like, drug. I'll have to look into it more. Because lucid dreaming is awesome, you know?
Well, here's the thing, dude. I couldn't give a flying flip about lucid dreaming, to be honest. Like my friend who was talking to me about it was like, oh, lucid dreaming, you need to start lucid dreaming. I'm not interested, mate. Yeah. And then I found like, I don't know where, I just came across it randomly after we'd been talking about it, saying like, oh, well, I use like, you know, I can get out of body from lucid dreaming. So I'm like, okay, hang on a minute. I'll look into it. Right. And my friend was like, oh, wait till you can like fly and do all and breathe underwater and you lucid dream. Like, okay, mate, I have no interest in fart-assing around in the astral. I am like getting like in the lucid dreaming, my little own bubble there. I'm not interested in that. I do that all the time anyway.
You would.
My dreams are already mental enough. I just want to get out of body through it, you know?
Sure. But if I said, hey, Sudi, I can get you into your etheric body you'll never fall asleep. You'll just transition. And when you fly around in this state, it'll almost feel like your human body's flying around. It won't feel like a lucid dream at all. That's what you want to do, right?
Oh, here's another thing though, actually on this, Joe. What was weird about it, and like it's made me think about, you know, being out of body as well. Like one other time prior to this in my life that I got lucid, and it only happened for literally like a second, but I do know what it feels like to be lucid. So I knew that when this happened, when I took the galantamine, it was like maybe the 5th time I took it that it actually And I realized I was in a dream, and I was saying to everyone else, we're in a dream, oi, we're in a dream. It was already a weird dream to start with, but then I was fully aware that I was dreaming, and it was really cool. So I knew I was lucid. Like, there's a difference, like when you know, and then I like got this Porsche, and I was like driving this Porsche around, and it was random. But the thing is, when I woke back, like in my dream, I was there and I was lucid. But when I came back, like in my normal body, it still felt like a dream. And I wondered, like, is being out of body going to be like that? Like, are you going to sort of be there in the moment and feel like, okay, I'm lucid, or I'm out of body. But then when you come back, it's still, when I came back, it didn't feel different to a normal dream. It still felt like a dream. Other than the fact that I knew when I was in it, it felt different. Like, listen, it felt different when I was in it.
I promise you, when you have the OB experiences that I had, I promise with all of my heart and soul, Sudie, with everything in my being, that you will know that there is nothing like that. There's nothing. It won't feel like a lucid dream. No.
Okay, cool.
Here's the weird thing.
I just wondered, that's all.
It is a phase in consciousness, though. I agree with Monroe on that part. Like, you can, while you're out of body in your etheric, you can phase into a dream, and you'll feel it. That's the weird thing. Like, you'll feel it, like, it's almost like, I remember one time I got out of body and I was moving around in my house, just walking, but it's almost like maybe my body was falling asleep, but I could feel a dream coming in. I could feel a dream coming in to take over. Right.
Weird.
That's the thing. So when he talks about how you separate into your etheric, that etheric, when I talk about out of body experiences, that's what I'm talking about. Right. But even in this book, he's talked about separating from that etheric body. And that's pretty much the majority of this third book, which makes me wonder, like, how is he interpreting that as different than a dream? Like, all this stuff that he's talking about now, like, how do we know that second body outside the etheric isn't what we call the dream state or whatever, And he's not like making all this up as he goes. See, I don't know, but I don't know. I don't have the answers for that. Like, I don't think anybody does.
Like, really? Does it matter?
I don't think so.
Does it matter if he's making it all up? Like, what does it matter? I mean, it's just...
I don't think so.
Just here for the ride.
Yeah, I think once you get into that state and you're aware, whether it's a lucid dream, a dream, past your second body or whatever, and you're aware, then you're creating anyways. I mean, what's the difference? Consciousness is right. Like, consciousness is consciousness, So what's the difference? Isn't that what you're saying? I kind of think that's what you're saying.
Ultimately, like, whether someone else's experience is real or not makes no difference to me. Ultimately, do you know what I mean? Because only my experience is something I can experience. So whether they're lying, okay, that's on them. If they're deluded, that's not on them, but that's their path or whatever. So ultimately, if someone's experience is real or not, or it was just a fabrication of their imagination, it ultimately doesn't make any difference to me.
I'll tell you the trippiest thing.
It can't change my experience unless I want it to, and I decide, oh, that's true, and then I want to go and experience it. Okay, then it affects me, but I can choose that anyway,
Yeah. Well, I do know this. You know how when we went through Muldoon's book, most of his talks were in the etheric. I mean, he didn't really talk about leaving the second body or going to these. That entire book of Muldoon back in the 1920s was all etheric. So I just want people to know, and I'm glad that we're having this discussion now. When I talk about the out-of-body experience, I mean what Muldoon is talking about and what Monroe is talking about in his first book, and what William Buhlman is talking about if you get on Audible or anything like that, look up William Buhlman and his book, How to Have an Out-of-Body Experience. So he tells stories in that book, but in between each story, he has his like induction methods where he talks you into an out-of-body experience. That book is one book that did help me get out of body. Robert Monroe's like first initial waves of hemisync induction, that William Buhlman's How to Have an Out-of-Body Experience, one of his first books, that book, and 3, which I know a lot of people aren't willing to do, but I was doing this too. I was doing ceremony every day. Like I was doing occult logistics, like lesser banishing ritual, the pentagram, middle pillar. I was doing this stuff every day. And so I think all 3 of those things combined, plus my sheer will, it takes a lot of will and determination to get out of body. So kind of like the will that you hear when Sudi talks about it. Like, I want to get out of body, man. Like, I'm trying all this stuff. Like, you have to have that will to get there. And once you get there, once you feel that phase shift, you just got to keep doing it. And then it starts becoming like second nature. But for the life of me, I can't figure out why did I stop, man? That's the big question, is like, I think I got so excited because the first OBE changed my life so freaking much that all I wanted to do was talk about it. And then I think that's all I did for like a year or two. And then the show took off and all this other stuff. So what I want to do is I want to get back there, you know? But every night I go down, man, I go down hard. Like I have to go do a sleep study in a month because I even told my sleep doctor today, Sudi and Bryce, I said, hey, do you believe in out-of-body experiences? And she's like, I absolutely do. And I said, you do? And she's like, yeah, but I need to finish this questionnaire. So she was asking me things like, do you get sleep paralysis? You know, yeah, because I kept interrupting her with my stupid ADD stuff, right? And she's like, but I need to finish. So she's like, do you have sleep paralysis? And I looked at her, I said, I look forward to sleep paralysis. You know, she's like, do you hear voices sometimes? I said, only in hypnagogia when I'm really, really tired. I've heard voices, I've heard growls. And she said, yeah, that's normal. And she explained it like in some scientific way. And I said, are you sure that that's normal? She's like, well, it's a theory in neurology and sleep science. I said, oh, okay. But she goes, you have to understand, she had to remind me, like, the reason why you're here is because you might have sleep apnea, and we need to figure out if you do, you know. And I was like, damn, man, like nobody in the world, not even the sleep doctor, is as interested in OBEs as much as I am. It's really strange to me. That has always been a freaking anomaly to me. Like, if you know, it's one thing to say aliens are real, like aliens are really real and I can prove it. Well, if I could prove it, that would change everything in the world, right? It's the same thing. Like I tell people, hey man, you can get out of your body and become a ghost. And if you focus enough, you can even bang on tables and move shit around, right? Affect the real world. Why? I guess a lot of people think I'm crazy, but what if they knew that it was real? Wouldn't that change like everything, you know? Anyways, that goes on
we're
in
back
my
to
head
the whole like NPC discussion, Joe. I just think there are some people that maybe
yeah, okay.
It's just not, because it stops your it relieves a lot of frustration in your life if you just accept as a possibility that, hey, you know what, maybe the lights are on, but maybe there's no one home. And so when I do find people where the lights are on and they are home, then those are the people that I invest that kind of level of discussion in, because you know, and then I can be upset if they don't take it on board or they don't listen to me, because I know that, hey, there really is someone, you know, upstairs there. But otherwise, you know, there's just some people that are just not meant for that life. They're just not meant for that level of discussion, you know?
Yeah.
And that's fine, you know? It just allows you to just accept that aspect of the world, whether it's true or not. It's kind of, for me, it's just like a bit of a mental hack to just go, well, you can just move on then and find and hang on to the people when you do find them that are your people, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and see, that's why I'm so drawn to Monroe's stuff too, because everything that he talks about in his first book happened to me. Not like the way it happened to him, but the kind of things that he's talking about happened to me too. Right. So even when I hear like Darius Wright talk about the phasing, what he explains the phasing out of body kind of the same way on an energetic, he explains it on like a magnetic level, right? This is like the way he describes when you get out of your body, you feel this kind of magnetic pull back to your body, and that's for a reason. He's got a really good way of explaining that. I can relate to that. I can relate to when William Buhlman talks about getting out of body and the things that he felt. What gets me, where I get tossed up, is when these explorers, especially like Monroe or Thomas Campbell, they start going out and talking to entities or reaching to the edge of consciousness. And at that point, like, I would love to, like, I believe his experience. And like you said, I don't know if he's making it up or if he's not, or even if that matters. At a point, it doesn't matter. But it's still cool to experience. But I will say this. I'll wrap all this ADD up with this. When this is over, Ari, we will focus on the out-of-body experience, but in other ways. I mean, we obviously, none of us can get to these outer rings or wherever the hell Monroe's talking about if we can't even get into the etheric, right? We got to get
Dude,
there
can I just
first.
say something that grinds my gears? You get on Reddit and you see these little millennials, they're going, oh yeah, I just get out at will whenever I want.
Bullshit.
It's like,
bullshit.
I believe some of them are. I believe some of them are doing that. And it's just, or like they have an OB spontaneously, and you just think, oh my God.
You
you?
wait a minute. Have you not had one out of body experience? Not like one etheric out of body experience?
And you know what's wild as well, Joe? The very first time that I tried one, like years and years and years ago, when I didn't even know what they were. The very first time I tried one, I got to the vibrational state, and I don't even know how I did it or what happened, but I got freaked out when I started feeling like this. It's sort of like, I think I was on the edge of like clicking out, but I definitely was feeling like vibrations, and that kind of freaked me out. But I didn't even know what to expect. I didn't even know what I was doing.
So
you know what I mean?
You didn't know what it was.
The very first time I tried. Yeah. The very first time I tried, I got to like the vibrational state. And then since then, you know, having said that, I need to try more during the day. I've got more time now, so I need to get more into a routine of trying during the day rather than at night, because I just pass out at night, and that's not working. So I just need to start trying during the day, and I'll get there. I mean, I've never failed at anything that I've kept at, so I'll just keep going.
Right.
And I fully intend to be telling you about it when it happens. I've got that set in my mind, the vision in my mind.
I can't freaking wait, because there's nothing greater in the world. I mean, there are a couple of things greater. Well, we won't talk about those things, but to me, there's nothing greater in the world when a person has his first etheric experience. And I'm just using the word etheric here, like Muldoon uses the word phantom. When you have that experience, you're going to, you're going to be so excited, Sudi. You're not going to care. I could tell you're not going to care about regular Earth life, at least for a few days. You're going to be...
It's going to be sick.
Yeah,
it's going to be sick.
It's going to be so epic.
Like, I intend to go like higher self now and see what happens with that. Like, let's go straight to the mainframe. Like, what's happening there?
Hey, I tried that. I tried that.
Did you? What happened?
Well, William Billman's. Well, the first time I tried that, I actually saw and experienced what we call white and pink noise. I couldn't. It was like a block for number one, and then two. There's this thing like that William Billman talks about. It's like awareness now. So your first etheric experience will be so aware, kind of like the first time you get high, the first time you have an orgasm, the first time you do anything good in life. It's optimal, right? So your first etheric experience will be optimal. And then after that, things will try to get in the way. Like you'll get out of body, but you won't be able to see. Or you'll get out of body and things might be a little blurry. And so what William Billman was saying, he's like, do this awareness now thing. And I remember one time I got out of body and I was almost completely blind. You got to remember, you don't have eyes. So what the hell's going on, right? And I got out and I said, awareness now, just like demanded it. And then my vision came to and then faded back out again. So there is something in your human nature that is fighting it all the time. Until you get past that. I think it's, Monroe describes it as fear, but it didn't feel like fear to me. It felt like just a resistance. I wasn't afraid of anything. It just felt like there's this resistance that just doesn't want me to do it, if that makes any sense, But
yeah,
let me see if I can get through 16 here before this nightly broadcast ends. Also, guys, if you're on the Fringe FM, make sure that you tune in sometimes, whenever you get time, because there might be nightly pirate broadcasts. We're fighting the machine, but we're reprogramming the whole station. Here we go. This is called The Roadside View. It took me many weeks, Let me make sure all this is going through. It's going through. It took me many weeks of contemplation to recover from the deep run along the interstate. Yet to call it along the interstate is only partially correct. I had to make a turn in another direction to reach my destination. Recover is another misnomer. I certainly did not recover, nor will I ever. The change is permanent. I have no idea how many other humans have had the same experience and returned to tell about it. Each report would be colored by the individual and the civilization and era which it took place. This was so with me, and words and analytical synthesis are inadequate to convey the whole meaning and validity of the experience. The basic, or the missing basic, was now a known to me, not a belief, a hope, or a faith, not conveyed by intuition or emotion, but a known, firmly fixed in my mind consciousness. Indeed, it had been there all along, but I had failed to recognize the many patterns of evidence for what they were. Acceptance is not the same as knowing. So, the known basic, the physical universe, including the whole of humankind, is an ongoing creative process. There is indeed a creator. Who or what this creator is lies beyond the emitter and the aperture, and I have not been there. Therefore, that part I do not know. Not yet. All I have is the overwhelming experience in the ray near the emitter, and of the evolving creative process as it takes place in this world and in myself. This I perceive with my different overview. The human mind consciousness has speculated for eons as to our creator beyond the aperture. I have not been able to engage in this for reasons I now recognize. And because of the continuing use of the label of, quote, God in a myriad of variations, I had resisted any attempt at identification in any descriptive form. The discoloration and misconceptions would be too great. Now I know why I had resisted. The same applies to the word spiritual and many other commonly used terms. But these, to me, are knowns. This, our Creator, is, 1, beyond our comprehension as long as we remain human. 2, is the designer of the ongoing process of which we are a part. 3, has a purpose for such action beyond our ability to understand. 4, makes adjustments, fine-tuning, in the process as needed. 5, establishes simple laws that apply to everyone and everything. 6, does not demand worship, adoration, or even recognition. 7, does not punish for evil and misdeeds. 8, does not intercede or interdict in our life activity. The desire to return with gifts is an integral part of the design. Most important, I realized that no words I could write or speak, no music I could compose, would be able to transfer fully such knowing to another human mind. As a belief, it might be possible, but as a known, not really. This can only come through direct, here's the kicker, folks. This can only come through direct individual experience. This is the only way to know anything. How to provide this was the essential item. Then I became aware that the process of transfer was 2/3 completed, in place and operating within the learning system we had devised at our institute. First, I had to ascertain why there was a need to help this transfer to others. I recalled my meeting with the nameless, great being near the aperture. I was incomplete, I had been told. I was too small. There was not enough of me. And I knew nothing of the, quote, gifts that were to accompany me through the aperture. I remember the human civilization of thousands of years ago that I had visited. They were more than 1 million in number. They had received their signal and were preparing to depart as a completed unit. I remembered, too, the sudden, quote, winking out or the disappearance of hundreds of thousands of assembled humans, no longer in a physical state, in the nearby I-there clusters bonded together. Lastly, I remembered the visit I made a few years ago when I traveled some 1,500 years into the future to a non-physical human civilization of which I was a part. They, or we, were on the verge of departure as a unified whole. My visit was some form of final closure they had been waiting for which I did not then understand. I understand now. And I understand what small meant, why I was, quote, incomplete, and what these, quote, gifts were. I know why I became involved in this, quote, retrieval process of those who had left the physical, and understand why I felt the need to share my experiences through books and writing, why I put all my physical assets and years of personal effort into the development of learning systems so that others could achieve states of consciousness similar to those I had experienced. It was not ego gratification. I had no desire to become a guru or a spiritual leader. It was not fame. My other life activities had taken care of that. It was not fortune. I'd done well enough in this respect long before my first out-of-body experience, nor was it the many possibilities of me and the I there of me. Individually, they were as unknowing as I. They were simply part of the mosaic. It was the basic, the collection and unification of the, quote, parts, not only the errant and missing ones in my own I there, but the parts of the entire I there cluster to which I am bonded. I have no idea how many others are in the cluster. It may be thousands or hundreds of thousands. So why is there this need for total unification? So that we can become truly one, complete, and with a multitude of gifts of experience and love. Then we, as a totality, can wink out and pass through the aperture. And then what? Well, the answer is unknown. The schedule for this Earth departure is apparently in the 35th century, but we cannot leave until we have gathered back all of the parts of each I there in our cluster, which is a massive task. So we shall be in the retrieval mode as needed, as parts of us drop out of the physical, bewildered and uncertain, or fall through a crack in a belief system that has held them entrapped for so long. My role, I could see, was that of facilitator. The basic need to be incorporated into our activities and learning systems. I'd been unaware of what we had been leading up to. I was unaware also of the probability that within our methods and techniques to improve human consciousness, there was some kind of signal that may have alerted and attracted those who are, from their own I there, bonded with our cluster. I wondered how many of the thousands who had participated in our programs belonged to our particular cluster. There's no way of knowing yet. And for more than 15 years, our programs have been providing working knowledge of human consciousness up to the very edge of time and space. The move beyond this border to begin gathering knowledge of the basic was indeed an ultimate challenge. The problem was how to do this cleanly and clearly, to make the basic a known instead of just a belief. This could only happen through personal experience. I had to start with knowns. What I have called the entry ramps to the interstate is physical death as perceived by most human minds. These ramps lead past the edge of their known map, and the road signs are contradictory. Now, culturally, we know very little about death and beyond at this time. We may believe different premises and prospects, but that is not knowing. The only thing that we all do know is that physical death is going to happen to each of us and to those we love sooner or later. But that's all, and hence comes in the fear. To compound the situation, virtually all of our knowledge and scientific study are focused upon physical matter and time-space. I agree. We don't have near enough science focused on consciousness and what happens after we die. None. I mean, I could see why, but I think we need more. Our insatiable dream is to know all about here, without exception or omission. The origin of this compulsion goes back to the human struggle to exist in a hostile environment, driven by the directive to survive. This underlying motive is still present, even though heavily disguised. In the matter of physical death, our scientists can provide only those approaches that somehow relate to physical matter. Specifically, we're looking at a system of measurement of something. If there's no electrical signal in the brain, and if there's no chemical action, if there's no physical movement, then you have nothing. So death equals nothing. And if you ask whether the human mind disappears when the electrochemical reaction ceases, much like the magnetic field around an electromagnet when the electricity is shut off, you will almost certainly receive a positive answer. But you may continue, such magnetic fields don't really disappear because they leave measurable imprints on sensitive matter in or near them. So what about the mind? Of course, comes the scientific reply, humans do much the same. They live in the memory of their remained loved ones or in the physical artifacts they caused to be formed, their work, their books, their buildings, their legacy, so on. But that's all. It's easy to see why so many scientists and medical professionals are nihilists or atheists in their public stance. But even so, many are forced into a belief image of survival owing to cultural pressure or hidden hopes and guilts. Moreover, scientific and medical researchers are inadvertent participants in the Earth life system predator process. As such, they're prone to adjust their data to suit their needs as much as anyone else. Nevertheless, some of our own greatest scientists have deduced that we are more than our physical bodies, or at least that our mind is more than the output of our brain. The bulk of our scientific knowledge is not germane to any approach that tries to make something out of nothing, and so we must reluctantly set it aside. Scientific endeavor is almost wholly enmeshed in the Earth life system and physical time space, and very little is applicable in this arena. Nor do religions and philosophies provide us with much help. And for thousands of years, men of religion in particular have been trying to persuade us to believe in subsequent to death existence. A vast number of techniques have been utilized in the attempt to help followers into the knowing stage, but very few, if indeed any, have succeeded. So, then we come back to personal experience. If it were possible to cross the border, to visit the area of this so-called nothing and return, and to describe it as is in clear terms, uninhibited by belief systems, then this would in time lead to worldwide knowing and consequently the elimination of fear. But so far, we do not know how to do this. Yet there is the possibility that we are already doing it, and we simply just don't remember. If I knew with no trace of doubt what I would be and do after I died, it would change me radically. I could live in my physical life to the fullest, without the shadow of lurking behind every second, the shadow that says, one wrong move, and your time is up. Damn, did you guys see that mosquito? That better not be a... Oh, shit. That mosquito just landed on my head and tagged me, man. If I knew that each of us had... Wait, where did I say? If I knew with no trace of a doubt what I would be and do after I died, it would change me radically. I could live in my physical life to the fullest, without the shadow lurking behind every second. The shadow that says, hey, one wrong move and your time is up. If we knew that each of us had the option to depart when we were certain our physical future held no more light for us, how our lives would be transformed. If we had the assurance that, no matter what happens, we can continue our love bonding beyond the Earth life system and time-space, if we were certain that when a loved one departs, we would know beyond doubt where we can find him or her, what a wonderful freedom we would have. I guess that whole chapter was about his philosophy, I guess. I got time to go through another one, I think, as long as it's small. Yeah. So this is 17. Having reviewed as best as I could the very little that was available on the subject of life beyond the Earth life system data, I decided that reversion to a personal inventory was the only way. What I was seeking had become a kind of death insurance, and personal circumstances now indicated that the need for this was pressing. My core self told me it was not as difficult as I seemed to think it was, and with this in mind, I began my search. There was a small group of those whom I knew well that I had actually contacted after their physical exit during an out-of-body experience. This group, and remember, going through the books, all these people he contacted. This group included my father, who died after a year of incoherent suffering as a result of a stroke. I found him in a small room with one window, apparently recuperating, and he had extended warm greetings. There was also an engineer friend, Charlie, who died after a heart attack and whom I discovered in a cabin on an ocean shore. My pilot and research friend, Agnew, who I met months after his fatal plane crash in what appeared to be a research laboratory, very excited about a new project, and Dick, my MD friend, who died from abdominal cancer and whom I found looking younger and fit talking with two other men in what seemed an office. I also briefly met my mother, although this was not during an out-of-body experience. She appeared in the front passenger seat of my car as I was driving to work, just a few minutes after she died in an Ohio hospital. There were others, but none I knew as well as these. And as I traced what they were, as I knew them, an interesting fact emerged. Not one had been locked into a post-mortem belief system. But where had they gone, and how did they get there? After all those years, I had not taken the trouble to find out. While considering this, I came to realize how very few rot and steel belief systems my parents had forced on me. There had been no fire and brimstone, no devils or angels, no preaching about an afterlife, only the process of self-determination. Neither they nor I at the time realized how valuable their attitude was. During nightly runs, I began to search to discover what had happened to those I had met after the Earth Life System sojourn. About 3 a.m, after 2 sleep cycles, I was fully rested and relaxed. I rolled out with a thought I was in the blackness outside and near my physical body. It took a moment to home in on the edge of the H-band. Backing away from the H-band noise, I began to look for those who had not possessed a strong post-mortem belief system. Charlie came first to mind, and with a light switch focus, I was in his self-created non-physical cabin by the ocean. Damn, I hope that's real, man. You guys remember him like earlier in this book when he had that cabin that he just created in the astral. That's pretty damn cool. Hey, y'all be nice to each other in chat, please. Charlie came first to mind, and with a light, quick switch focus, I was in the self-created non-physical cabin by the ocean. It was like being in a still picture. The sandy beach appeared normal, but the cabin was empty. The clouds were immobile in the sky, and the sun seemed stationary. There was no ocean breeze. Charlie was gone. If he had been there, everything would have been in motion. And then I noticed what to me was an anomaly. I could feel sand under my feet. I looked down, and my feet were there, bare feet. I wiggled my toes and dug them in the sand. It was altogether natural, and to one side was a stretch of grass. I walked, not floated, over to the grass and stepped on it. It felt just like real grass. I bent down and plucked a blade, belatedly realizing I also had a hand. I put the grass in my mouth and chewed. The taste and texture were real. It was indeed grass, living and growing. The Charlie I knew never indicated he could create living organisms, yet here was the evidence, and there was my automatic assumption of a physical form, which was unusual to say the least. What kind of energy field had Charlie generated? It was certainly not a belief system, as I had not been conditioned to expect what I found. As I left slowly and deliberately, my sense of a physical body faded. I checked the, quote, location and found it was just inside the H-band noise barrier, within the human radiation band of M-field spectrum. In the following weeks, I tried to discover where Charlie had gone, and try as I might, I could find no trace of him anywhere. The next person I sought was my father. Owing to the stroke, he had suffered very deep pain for a full year and had been unable to communicate his problem before he died. I discovered this when I found him previously, soon after his death. It was easy for me to find the room where he had been recuperating, but as I half expected, he wasn't there. The room was empty, but I could reach out and touch the wall with my hand. Why did I suddenly materialize my hand? The wall was rough like concrete or adobe. The father I knew could not have built it, so either I didn't know my father as well as I thought I did, or someone else created the room. As I moved slowly out of the top of the small building, my perception changed back to purely non-physical. I was not surprised that the H-band noise wave was not far away. And later, I tried but failed to find where my father was. Had both he and Charlie returned to the Earth Life System, or had their retrievers picked them up? And what was this place where both cabin and room stood empty since their departure? As I felt before, it was too real for a belief system. My curiosity was on the alert. I made another run some days later into an adjacent area that brought a similar result. I rediscovered the place where I had found Agnew several months after he had crashed and burned in his light aircraft while trying to land at a small Ohio airport. It was at Agnew's funeral in North Carolina where a vivid and hitherto unexplained event had happened. Just as his casket was being lowered into the grave, a low-flying twin Beech aircraft flew over the site. It was exactly the same model, with the same color and markings as the one Agnew had flown. It waggled its wings and flew off into the distance. His widow broke into sobs, and all of us who knew him were moved to tears. Later, we checked all airports within a radius of 300 miles. There were no records of any twin Beech takeoffs or landings. Now, with this in mind, I was not optimistic that I would find this creative type at the same non-physical site. When I'd found him previously, soon after his death, he had been working excitedly on something he couldn't explain to me. I was right. This time the platform and rigging were there, but not Agnew. I didn't try to locate him. There were too many possibilities. So next, I focused on where I'd found Dick after his death. He had been a good doctor. He was a good doctor and a friend of mine in his early days in New York. When I had seen him, he had been in deep conversation with several other men in a large room, and he had simply given me a wave of acknowledgement. He looked half the age he was when he died. I reached the same large room with no problem, but to my surprise, it wasn't empty. 2 normal-looking men in business suits were standing by a table in casual conversation, and I approached them carefully. Excuse me, but could you give me any information about Dick Gordon? They turned and stared at me wide-eyed. Then the taller one spoke. I'm sorry, we weren't expecting you. Do you need to sit down? Are you tired? No, I'm fine. I only want... Wait a moment, George? The second man interrupted. This one's different, look. They examined me intently, and George shook his head. You still have a living physical body. I hesitated. Well, yeah, I do, but... And you know you're not dreaming, right? Yeah, I know. I'm trying to... Amazing, George reached out, grabbed my hand, and shook it vigorously. I've heard about people like you, but you're the first we've met. What about this, Fred? But exactly what is this place? It was Fred who replied. This is a place where certain people come when they died, with a little help sometimes. Most of them don't know it exists. What people? Well, you know, medical types, physicians, surgeons, and so on. Well, why do they come here? Well, to calm down after the big change, George explained. They need it especially because they've been so locked into keeping patients alive, but they recover quickly in a familiar environment. Look around. I became aware that I was in a typical doctor's office waiting room with chairs, coffee tables, and stacks of old magazines. Through a glass window, I could see the nurse's desk and file cabinets. An inner office with desk and chairs was visible through an open doorway, and on the far side of this I glimpsed a room with examining tables, scales, and other equipment. I turned to the 2 men. Who put this together, did you? No, we don't know, Fred replied. It was here when we arrived. It's an artifact created simply to help the medical mind adjust to the change. It's so familiar, and that's why it works. Well, are you the only ones here? No, there are several hundred at least, just in the receiving area. They're the ones that stay and help. They come and go all the time. I turned to George. Well, how did you get here? Well, I was sitting in the park, and Fred here came up and sat beside me, and then, what's the matter? Are you all right? He must have seen the shock on my face as the wave of memory flowed into me. The park. Years ago, I had arrived at the park, but how or why I got there, I couldn't recall. There had been a welcoming group of 10 or 12 men and women who greeted me warmly and explained where I was. It was a place to calm down in after the trauma of physical death, like a way station for relaxation and a decision as to what to do next. Yeah, the park. Finally, I managed to speak. No, I'm fine. Tell me, where's the park? It was Fred who answered. There was a softness in his face as he looked at me. That is what you're looking for, isn't it? I don't know, but I think it is. He waved his arm at the door behind him. Just go out, turn left, and follow the path through the woods. It's not far. I was deeply grateful. Thank you. Thank you both. I may see you again, even if I'm not a doctor. George patted my shoulder. Well, come back when you get a chance. If you find a lonely physician, bring him along too. I went outside, turned left, and there indeed was a woods with tall trees, most of them familiar to me. A path led through an opening, and I followed it. Although I was eager to hurry, I decided to remain walking. The feel of the leaves and the grass against the soles of my feet was much too good. My feet were bare. And as I walked on, a gentle breeze touched my head and chest. I could feel. Just as my bare feet, I could feel. I passed oaks, poplars, hickories, sycamores, chestnuts, pines, and cedars, even an incongruous palm tree, and trees I never knew existed. The scent of the blooms mixed with that of rich loam was wonderful. I could smell. And the birds, about half of them were species I'd never seen before. They were singing, chirping, calling, flying from tree to tree and sweeping across my path, hundreds of them, and I could hear. I walked more slowly in wonderment. My hand, my physical hand again, reached out and plucked a leaf from the low branch of a maple. It felt alive and flexible. I put it in my mouth and chewed. It was moist and tasted exactly like the maple leaves of my childhood. Suddenly I knew what had happened, what was probably still taking place. This was a human creation. Many of those who walked this path created and added their own favorite bird or tree to the woods. They were alive, living creations, created by humans. They're not the standard reproductive mode followed in the Earth life system, which is really not human-created, but the idea and plan of someone else. And all the rest of it behind me in my search was the same, the product of a human mind consciousness. The medical haven, Agnew's rigging, my father's recuperation room, and Charlie's cabin by the ocean. Charlie, I remembered, had even demonstrated how he put it together. All human creation. The basic. I know of the existence of our Creator, but are all of us really creators out of the same mold? Is my core self I accepted so casually a minuscule replica or clone of the original? How far can we take this only partially expressed idea? As if to prove the point of reality, a large orange parrot flew over my shoulder, chirped, and released a white dropping in my hand as he passed. I laughed as I tested the warm consistency of it between my thumb and forefinger. Yeah, it was certainly real. I walked on, wondering how many human-created animal friends were in the woods, when I came to a bend in the path and the trees ended. Before me was the park. It was the same as when I'd visited many years ago, with winding walks, benches, flowers, and shrubbery, different colored grass lawns, clusters of stately trees, small streams and fountains, and with a warm sun overhead among small cumulus clouds. The park continued on a gently rolling terrain as far as I could see, and as I walked down the slope to the nearest bench, I wondered what human mind or group of humans put this together. It was a magnificent creation for a lowly human. Yet I knew this was the way it had come into existence, but I had not thought of such things on my previous visit those years ago. Now I remembered. I knew why it was here. A woman rose from the bench as I approached. She was of a medium height, slender, with large brown eyes and dark brown, slightly wavy hair down to her shoulders. Her face was smooth and lightly tanned, with features that seemed to have touches of the Orient, the Middle East, and Europe. She was wearing dark slacks and a hip-length jacket. Her age might be anything between 35 and 50. She was familiar. I'd met her somewhere before. She smiled and held out her hand. "Well, at least you're here. Welcome back, Ashanine." Ashanine, my name. Remembered from another lifetime. It told me a lot about her. I took her hand, which was real enough to feel, and she led me to the bench and we sat down. Other people strolled by, all of them adults, wearing a variety of clothing. Some glanced curiously at us, and I wondered why, until I realized there was a subtle difference they could perceive between my appearance and theirs. I caught the woman's eye and she smiled again. A half-memory floated in. "This jacket you're wearing." "Yep, I was wearing it last time you were here. I thought it might help you to remember." I nodded, but my memory was hazy, and she was among the dozen people I met last time that I was sure of. I looked at her and saw that she was smiling. Could she read my thoughts? "Yes, of course I can, and you can read mine." "Well, who are you?" "I am only the messenger. I am to tell you that you may by all means bring people to us, those who are newly physically dead. We will take care of them. That is why we are here. And you may teach others to do this." "Well, how can I teach something that will seem so strange?" "We're sure you can. Many of them are probably doing it now. All you need to do is help them remember. It's a wholly objective way to remove the fear of physical death. And let them know that they do survive the death process." "Certainly. Also, it would help them become aware of the many options they have." "There are many even you have not considered, Ashanine, or would you prefer we call you Robert?" "Robert or Bob, please. My physical friends call me Robert, or they call me Bob. The name Ashanine might trouble them." "Some may know you by the old name." "Well, I'm becoming aware of that, and I'm trying to recall your name. You are the wife of Leon." "Yes, Leon." "Mate is a better word." "You are Navisi." "Good. Well, now I need some help. The places I visited where my friends were, they're simply extensions of here, are they?" "Yeah, that is so. But if they have a strong belief, they will follow that directive and go where that belief leads them. There will be others of the same belief waiting to help them. You let them go and leave them alone. That is where they belong. But all this is not just another belief, is it? Navis laughed. Not in the usual sense. There are no beliefs involved, only experience. The design here is only to provide a familiar surrounding to ease the anxiety. This place, then, is a creation that is here and will be here, whatever your beliefs. It will not disappear if you don't believe it exists. Well, then who made it? A human civilization many thousands of years ago. They've been gone long since. Is there anything more you need to know? Well, what about those who simply want or need to return to what I've called their I there? I'm sure you understand what I mean. I do. That is the destination of most who depart from here. Well, so when we bring people here, you calm them down and give them the opportunity to consider what they want to do next. Yep, that is so. We show them what opportunities do exist. The park is a starting point. You'll be astounded when you see all the little individual places that residents have created. Are there rules? Only one. No imposition of one will upon another. Well, thank you for your help. I've much to do, it seems. You'll find it easier than you think, Bob. This knowledge of here, of where to go at death, where to meet, this knowledge before the event, it gives ultimate freedom. It does. I see you're receiving a signal to return. Yeah, there's much more to learn here, but I must go. I have one more question. No need to ask. The creative process whose results you have observed are already known to us as a human. And your father did construct his own room. There was no need to ask, Tanasin. You have remembered a goodbye phrase from 100,000 years ago. Tanasin. The return was easy and uneventful. I did indeed have much to do. Well, damn, that's it, folks, for the night. I don't know if I want to go to the park. When you die, do you want to go to heaven, blackness, or would you like to go to that park? I feel like that park would be a cool spot. Maybe. Hello from San Francisco. My lucid dreams are very complicated. I feel touched and have to concentrate to not wake up and just go with it. Someone in that place grabs me. Yeah, lucid dreaming is a different subject than the OBE experience, but still cool. Like Sudi was saying earlier, I don't know. Sudi said, didn't you say you were kind of bored of lucid dreams a little bit, Sudi? Or you have more of a desire to have an OBE experience now, huh?
Yeah, I'm not interested in like just being able to control my dreams because my dreams are already so mental anyway that I do like such random stuff that the dreamscape doesn't interest me. You know what I mean? At all. So, yeah.
I do a lot of stuff in my dreams too. It's kind of crazy to me that, you know, even though we're talking about the out of body experience in Monroe's case, it's kind of crazy to me that you don't have like a frequent go-to place in your dreams. Like I've had so many dreams that I've frequented in certain places, you know, that's pretty crazy to me.
The only reason I like found out about that was because when I was like looking into lucid dreaming and, like finding ways to get lucid, they say, you know, you should, when you find yourself in a place that you know, use it as a trigger. And I'm like, I'm never in the same place. And that I asked my friend, he's like, yeah, I'm in the same place all the time. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not. And it's annoying because that's how you can set yourself a trigger. Like if you go to the same place all the time, you can set a trigger there to make you lucid. But when you don't have that, then you can't use that technique. So it kind of sucks. But whatever. There's other techniques.
Yeah, no. It's cool. One day we'll all be able to have like out of body experiences plus lucid dreams, you know, and then just we'll be so good at this that we can just move out of body into a lucid dream, into a regular dream, back to the lucid dream, into the etheric. That's the, I guess that's my goal, to be able to move consciously wherever I may choose, however I may choose in my sleep states, you know.
I just don't see the point of lucid dreaming. Like, I don't understand why you would bother doing that. Just get out of body. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Genuinely, I don't understand what's the point of lucid dreaming. Why would you bother?
I feel like some people like it because from what I understand, especially when I had Ian and a couple other lucid dreaming authors on the show, It's because they like to live out certain fantasies in those dreams that they normally don't feel like they could do on Earth, I guess, you know? So whether it's flying or eating certain foods or experiencing a certain life, you could do it in a lucid state, you know? And there's other obvious things, but sure, I get it. Let's see, anything in chat? April, what's exhausting? I have lucid and OBs often. I think it's due to being a Pisces. It's exhausting. That's cool that you have them often. MJ0475 says, I'd love to go to that park. Me too. I'd love to go to that park as well. All right, listen, guys, we'll be back tomorrow night, same time, right here live on Fringe FM. Like I said, keep it tuned on the Fringe FM. You never know when a live pirate broadcast may show up. Help us get the station back from the signal or the machines. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Good night, y'all. Sweet dreams. Night-night. Oh, Lordy.
Tombstones climbing up the sky to claim the boredom and the whine of the radiator, to freeze the fates that intertwine, unresolved and undefined in this echo chamber. Once you've given up the ghost, just like Lazarus, you know there's an operator, some strange passenger inside. To that strange power I'm resigned like an iron anchor. I'm just a ghost in your stereo, the fading memory of a shipwreck in the undertow. You're just a lost song I wrote, and I'm just a ghost in your stereo.